This program shows real direct support professionals serving real people with developmental disabilities in a variety of settings, offering you a chance to learn about the work involved in direct support and judge for yourself if you're interested in pursuing a career in supporting people with developmental disabilities. It's important to know the realities about direct support work prior to employment because it increases chances that you'll select a job that you'll do well and enjoy. Direct support professionals play many roles. They work as companions, advisors, counselors, chauffeurs, cooks, teachers, and assistants, to name a few. Many people find direct support work stimulating, challenging, and fulfilling. Others do not. There's no right or wrong decision, only what is a good fit for you.
Part of a team that works in this house with 3 guys. We have to do almost everything for them, to a degree. But by the same token, too, we're still trying to teach them to do certain things. On my shift, which is 3rd shift, overnight, I work from 10:30 at night until 8:30 in the morning. My duties include general cleanup and preparing the meal for the next night. When I come in at 10:30, I check on the guys, set up their linen and stuff for the next morning. About 5:30 in the morning, that's when I start waking the guys up, getting them moving. Then I get them showered, clean their rooms, change the linen. By 7 o'clock, my partner comes in and she starts fixing breakfast. I tend to refer to David as my shadow because no matter where I go, I'll turn around, I'll bump into him.
You never know what you're going to come across in the mornings. Come in the mornings, I help get them ready for work, get them dressed, get their hygiene done, shaved, teeth brushed, dressed for work. The night staff's already here and they usually have things prepared for breakfast already. They've usually already got 1 or 2 consumers started. Then we get their breakfast and pass medications. There's 2 days in the week when one of the consumers has laundry that she does, so we get that taken care of. Everybody generally goes and they sit in the living room and wait until it's time to go. We usually either have the news on or the radio. There's one that needs total care. She has to have a helmet on and she can't brush her teeth, she can't wash herself, she doesn't do anything without assistance. If the consumers are having a bad morning, it can be very distracting trying to drive them to work in the morning. Sometimes things get thrown in the van out of their lunch boxes or somebody's grabbing somebody. Somebody's screaming obscenities. To get as much paperwork done as I can within that half an hour time I have, check emails, whatnot, check over any communications.
The first thing I want to do is I check documentation. I want to check to see, who's sick, who's here, who's gone, who has appointments, what needs to be done. Usually when I come in, they're getting off from work. They need showers, hygiene done. It's time for them to eat, meal preparation, activities.
The individuals that I support are pretty much independent. They just may require some minor assistance. They may need prompting. Robert's a pretty unique individual. He's probably been in the system for a long time. He's a very gentle and sweet soul. He's actually pretty independent despite some of the problems with the Alzheimer's. Wanda is a pretty great gal. She's someone who has been through the system and she has survived. She's got a wonderful personality. She's a person with diabetes, so we have to really maintain her health at all times. She likes to test the waters every once in a while, but that's what everybody does.
I work with 15 adults with developmental disabilities. The guys start work at 8:45. I oversee the production that we do here in the workshop. I oversee what they're working on, how much they're doing.
My job is a support staff team member. From 9 to 3, I will be here and I will get her up and ready, give her medicines, just get going. If we want, we'll make it fun and we'll go outside to our nice little garden area and turn on music and eat. First, I was scared. I was scared because I didn't know how to work with people who had disabilities. But When you get into the field, you don't see their disabilities.
I work with Nathan a couple times a week. We pretty much, in general, end up troubleshooting problems he's having at work, problems he's having with his family, problems he's having in his social life, and anything that comes up in his life that he thinks he needs to talk about. Nathan seems to encounter lots of little things in his life that he blows into big things, and between the two of us, we try to settle them down and try to work through it so that he can solve most of his problems with just some advice.
As a guardian, my role is basically to advocate for the clients that I have and work closely with the facility that they get services from. I advocate for their activities of daily living, their medical care, and you can't do that unless you have knowledgeable, competent, and compassionate direct support professionals.
I work in the day program. What that means is just kind of help people with their social skills, their health skills, peer conflict and management skills, just kind of really whatever they kind of need help with. Some people are really independent. They just need help maybe with, you know, monitoring they take their medication or helping them eat their lunch or with their hygiene needs. It just depends on what everybody needs. Basically, just here to help them be as independent as they can.
Do you like your new trainer, Kim?
High 10 comes on at 3:30, and her job consists of getting the dinner for the girls, give them their showers, give them their meds. She's a good cook. They all sit down as a family to eat. This is a home-cooked meal every night.
I'm like on call 24/7. Yes, I do have to give up some of my social life, but this is my job. I love my job.
My son is Roger, and he has atrophy of the cerebellum and spinal cord. As a result of that, he's losing control over his walking ability, and all coordination is affected by it.
I'm a live-in support staff, and my job mainly is to help Roger in his daily activities, his basic necessities. Sometimes we go out to dinner, and he'll make his own choice in what he does eat. Right now he's on an 1,800 calorie diet. We work together, and it's not so serious as work. I wouldn't call it work because we have a companionship, and we do laugh together. We tell jokes, just have a good time.
No 2 days are the same.
Every day is different. You never know what you're gonna walk into, and that's what makes it interesting.
It's kind of like my second home and my second family. You know, I have 4 children that I take care of during the day, and then I come to work and I have 7 adults that I get to spend time with and be friends with and help them have the best quality of life possible.
The rewarding part would probably be is seeing people be successful in whatever job that they may be undertaking, and just knowing that they're giving it their all through that period, whether it's 30 minutes or whether it's an hour. You can say to yourself, well, I was able to make that person believe in themselves, herself.
For being a young person, it kind of makes you grow up in life, makes you more responsible.
You get to help people out. They might learn to tie their shoe or get a drink of water on their own, and each day they go to a different level. They learn something new. It's inspiring. It's beautiful.
Kenny has a disability where he can't walk on his own, so you have to support him and walk with him. The desire that he will show. That to me is something that really stands out, that despite his disability, he can still get there.
I've been here for almost 13 years. The reason why I've been here, their family, seeing them grow, seeing them do more, seeing them achieve higher standards of living, I get a good feeling just knowing that I've been a successful part of their life.
Melissa to me is just like my sister. We know everything about each other, and we do lots of things together. The most rewarding part of this job would be knowing Melissa, getting to know her and her family, and knowing how they watched her struggle and now she's doing better, and that I've had a part of that. And I have like a great friend.
What you get out of this job, I feel, for me personally, is, you know, you make a difference. You know, you make a difference.
The rewards of knowing that you're helping a person who normally would be institutionalized, had this been over 25, 30 years ago, to be able to live as normal of a life as possible. I mean, who wants to spend their life in a small room with padded walls? I mean, these people are actually living the way you and I would want to live our lives. They're doing meaningful things. They're working in the community. They're being participants in the community.
I really love my job. I know it's not a great deal of money in it, but my satisfaction is what someone really truly love you. There's no pretend. That's a great feeling when you walk and close the door and go home. So that's awesome. I love that. And not a lot of people get that.
Rewards are just seeing Nathan be able to solve some of his problems on his own, to catch himself when he notices that he's really not making the best choice, and watching him be able to correct himself sometimes.
I like helping people. I have that feeling that I'm doing something good. I'm helping someone achieve an extra step in life.
This is important work, and it's certainly not for everyone. If someone does not have a great deal of patience, if someone treats the job lightly, it's probably not the kind of work they'd want to do.
Paul, he's subject to seizures. He wears that helmet because of his balance. He has very poor balance. Paul can be aggressive. There are times he will not be cooperative. So it requires a lot of tolerance and patience, especially when he starts to hit you, because he will knock your block off. So it's being aware of what his disabilities are, but also you have to be cautious of your own personal safety. Dealing with challenging behaviors is just a part of the job.
When people get frustrated and they don't know what other way to express themselves, it might be screaming, it might be throwing something, it might be biting you, it might be just you sitting there talking to them, trying to help them calm down, but they're hitting you in the process. Sometimes it's because of communication deficits.
It could be either to get your attention or they're in distress.
Sometimes they do it because they're not feeling well and you don't know that, because they don't know how to relay it to you.
It will definitely test you on a daily basis, and I'm tested every day.
When you're passing medications, some of them are fairly serious medications, psychotropics and things like that. That's kind of intimidating because they're controlled substances.
The hardest part for me is cleaning the guys when they're really covered with feces. I mean, that is the hardest part. Cleaning my kids, my grandkids is one thing, but when you're dealing with someone who is not family, it's very difficult.
I live in Lawrence with my fiance Damien, and we have quite a bit of problem getting care tenants for both of us, so that's a real problem. I'm the one in control. I hire, I fire, I make sure I get qualified people. If they're not showing up, we give them a warning, and then if after that warning they still haven't come, we give them like a week's probation, and then after that we say that you're fired. Try to give them a week to shape up. Sometimes it doesn't always work.
Sometimes the isolation gets to be kind of strange, that you have nobody to bounce things off of, and you have to make a lot of judgment calls right there on the spot. A lot of places you do have people, a supervisor that you can talk to, but a lot of times these things you have to do on your own.
I work with a number of folks that, as they've aged, they've developed other health-related issues, Alzheimer's being one. It is hard to see deteriorations. For new people that I know that have never done this and they've come in, and I've seen staff come and go, you've got to be willing to jump in and do it. If you see that it needs to be done, don't expect somebody else to do it. It's everybody's responsibility, and it's done in a humane way. How do you want people to talk to you?
People who are interested in working in direct support with individuals need to be dependable, they need to be reliable, they need to have strengths that can get them through the day, because sometimes this job can be very, very challenging, and it can test your skills, it can test your nerves, and you've got to be able to be strong through a lot of that.
Patience, and tolerance. I didn't realize I had so much until I got into this field.
What makes a really good support staff is somebody that's our friend, dependable, works for us, no matter the disability.
As a guardian, I do rely and trust the direct support professionals because they are the ones that have the one-on-one. I want them to be open, and they also have to be knowledgeable and competent.
What we look for in direct support professionals would be first a caring attitude, a willingness to learn, a willingness to listen to what we know.
I do not want somebody to think of me as a commodity or it's just a job. Dave and I have a very good relationship. One of the reasons why I have such a good relationship is that he's got a twisted sense of humor just like I do. He shows up, he's courteous, he's polite, and a lot of times offers suggestions of stuff that I didn't even think of.
They have to be able to adjust, transition to things well, be able to go from point A to point C with B not being a big intrusion in there. Just whatever happens, just keep it going.
You have to understand you're dealing with developmental disabilities, mental retardation, autism, Down syndrome. What may not seem bad to me is completely overwhelming to that person, and you have to be completely understanding of that at all times.
A lot of times they can't tell you what's wrong, so you have to do a lot of outside-the-box problem solving and things like that to kind of figure out what they're needing or they're wanting. Things aren't as obvious as they always seem. You need to be very upbeat and, you know, really ready to go every day, because they're always ready to go every day when they come to their program, and you need to kind of be at the same level because, you know, they want to know that you're enjoying your time too.
The most important thing, I think, is somebody who has a strong work ethic, who takes their responsibilities very seriously, and that really enjoys building a relationship with someone. It's not a job to be taken lightly. It's not a job for everyone.
It's mandatory that we have first aid and CPR. I mean, you have to make sure that you can save their life if you have to, or be the first person there to care for them in case of an emergency. We have a wide variety of trainings that we do to make sure that everyone that's supported in the program is safe at all times.
Their jobs are not easy. I think that overall their jobs are undervalued, but I'm very proud of what they do day in and day out. It's not easy, but it's very important, and they do a great job.
The staff does keep me involved here. They call me for anything. We don't just call to say we have a problem. We call to say, what are you doing? What are you going to be doing tonight? You want to come over and we'll go to Dairy Queen. This is not just a group home. This is a home.
Some of the things that would not help the individuals that we serve is people who are dishonest, people who are unreliable, who don't show up when they're supposed to. That's very hurtful and painful to the individuals we serve, because if they have an appointment they need to be at and the person doesn't show up, then that leaves them in a position to have to reschedule an appointment, and with doctor's appointments that can take many months to get rescheduled.
I want to be able to see competence in that person and confidence, and I want to be able to see the compassion, and when you don't see those, that's when I really get nervous.
They need to be trustworthy, and people who aren't trustworthy, you know, there's not much that they can do to help, because there's a lot of security things and privacy and confidentiality issues that we deal with daily.
I would recommend this work for someone who has patience, lots of patience.
I would recommend this work to my friends, and I have, because it's a fun job. You get to be with someone and help them out, and that's like, you know, an awesome feeling.
Don't come to this field if you're just here for a paycheck.
If someone is here just for the paycheck, they're not going to last. They're not going to last.
Make sure you understand what you're getting into and know this about yourself within a short period of time before you get too involved, too burnt out, where people can be hurt by your leaving, because this is a program that the people become very dependent upon their staff, because for some that's the only family they have.
You know, there'll be challenges along the way, but if you truly find enjoyment in it, then it'll be very fulfilling.
If this isn't something that you're comfortable with, you can't fake it. It comes across very easily. You've got to be a caring person, you know, willing to just accept the changes, whatever happens.
You gotta love it. can't get rich doing it, but you gotta love it.